All right. Oh, hey, everybody. This is Kenn Renner, real estate broker here in North Austin, actually Liberty Hill now, Santa Rita Ranch. And I'm here today talking to Kim Guley with Builder Boost. And she's got an amazing product that helps us realtors help the builders sell their properties, or at least find the properties and have really up-to-date good information on the inventory of the speculative homes that are available in the Austin and San Antonio. Now I guess you're breaking into Dallas, so that's good. We want to talk a little bit about these macro markets, and then we'd like to talk about the micro markets, about what's happening, on the ground here that we're dealing with on a daily basis. But just a little background: I've known Kim from before she started Builder Boost. She was working for Taylor Morrison, one of the biggest builders around town, still a great builder here. And I guess it was on some kind of council meeting or something like that. And then you were talking about, you saw me on doing the YouTube thing. So yeah, I was doing YouTube. My YouTube channel is over 11 million views, and I used to go around the nation, Keller Williams conferences, and speaking on their big stages to try to get people to use video. And nobody took me up on it, and it took a pandemic for people to actually start using video. And now it's the way we sell homes. I mean, I can't tell you how many homes me and my agents have sold with Zoom and FaceTime, and do their deco with Zoom. And so it is now what I started with the YouTube stuff way back is now actually is ubiquitous. So thanks.
You were before your time.
Yeah, try to stay ahead of things and teach other people too to get in front of things. And so that's kind of where I've made my mark on in real estate and serving an underserved market. So one of the underserved markets with first-time home buyers, which this Builder Boost is great because everybody's trying to get the least expensive home when they're buying their first house, and you can sort by the price. So yeah, I mean, it's been, and then also investors, which was a pretty niche market. And then all of a sudden with me visiting California, West Coast, East Coast, and bringing, the pandemic, bringing everybody here. We fortunately had several hundred clients buy properties in the last couple of years, got in front of that wave and created a massive amount of equity or a massive amount of wealth by getting in front of it. So what we're talking about today is a little bit is about Kim's product that we've been using. A little bit of the history of just recent history was last November, a year ago, I was talking to Kim because we were using the tool, the spreadsheet that she had. And then she said, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, all of a sudden December hit and we did nothing but write contracts as fast as we could because this huge wave of people were just buying up everything, on site. I remember I moved, it was in this room when I moved. I bought this house in December of last year. I've got boxes stacked up and I'm here writing contracts, I mean, I couldn't even move, because I was like, I thought December would be nice and slow, and it wasn't. And that was really pretty much the start of the hyper appreciation that happened from about December through about the summer of 2021. And now things have calmed down a little bit, and that's what we wanted to kind of address with you, Kim. And your clients are the builders. You're in constant contact with them. You're dealing with management, and you're dealing with the marketing side of things. So you got a kind of an insider scoop, insider knowledge of what the builders are looking for. And I want to kind of get you chime in on that, and then we'll kind of look at the spreadsheet product.
Absolutely. So you talk about January and 2021. It was almost like a light switch had gone off.
Yeah.
And talk about a scary time to be a business owner, that my clients were builders. They didn't need the marketing because it was a huge influx of demand. And so, yes, there was a lot of top management saying, cut off all marketing. We don't need marketing right now.
Right.
And just an interesting time of watching what the market did. And I've been in the business, I don't know, 17-ish years, lots of different cycles. But this one was interesting because top management of builders, I heard it again and again, say, I don't know how to define this. I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before. This is interesting. So, you couldn't predict what was about to happen. And like you said, we stopped with the inventory. We stopped putting pricing out because the builders couldn't determine pricing. Lumber was up. So just a very interesting time for everybody and poor home buyers at that time, right? It's
Yeah.
like they were getting outbid like crazy. Builders were going to wait list. And, I saw something interesting because I went back to the heart of Builder Boost. And what that is helping agents to help their clients. And
Right.
there's a huge need for that, especially when the market gets weird and it's transparent. Then you can see it and you can see agents like you that have been in the industry forever and you can see it's about relationships. So it's about the relationships and, being able to get on the wait list or priority list. It's who you know. So just lots of business lessons in 2021 for everybody.
No one had ever seen it. I'm almost in this business for 40 years. And I was in California when they had lines of cars out for weeks waiting. And then you were for the chance of being in line to get a number. And then they would pick the number out of the hat. But you had to be in line. So people were parking their RVs and stuff like that. And that literally happened in January, right in my neighborhood at Santa Rita Ranch.
Right.
People lined up starting on Wednesday in the freezing cold to buy a house on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock when they released it. And it was surreal. And on Friday night, I was driving through literally a traffic jam and there were 70, 75 people in sub-freezing weather waiting in their sleeping bags.
Right.
Like you said, I really felt for the buyers, and also it just became almost impossible to purchase, and a lot of people just gave up. And the builders cut all investors off, so that was a big chunk of my business was investors, and they're still very anti-investor at this point, and so that's the key. We still want to invest, and we did some great investing, even right here in Santa Rita, sold a dozen investment properties, and they went up $150,000 in value and things like that, and it was unexpected, but it was well appreciated. But the blind auctions, the bidding for the properties against each other, all that tells us that was pretty much that they didn't know how to deal with it, and that's how they did it. And they wouldn't sell homes until they were closer to completion because they didn't know what their costs were. But now, fast forward from July, August, September, which I'd say the peak. What are you seeing? I mean, I saw Builders Boost is back, and so there obviously is inventory. So
Absolutely. So I'm seeing sort of a slow return, but a return nonetheless. I've seen that builders had been holding back a lot of their inventory for fear, like you said, of what if prices go up. And we were seeing it in different levels. So, once lumber came back down, then there was glue, the glue that was for drywall, then that was out of supply. And so,
yeah.
for the builders that I knew on the inside, it was very frustrating for them because, you got holed up in purchasing and then purchasing needed to reprice. And so, finally we're at a place, I think, where they're able to confidently say, okay, this is the price, we're under construction, we have everything purchased, that will be coming in. So I'm seeing a lot of inventory hit the marketing, if you will, that is finished in March, probably around springtime. So I see the comfortability in that 6 month out window right now. I know from looking at stats that the starts in Austin, there's a lot of land, and a lot of builders have secured the land. There was a big land grab for a while of, oh my goodness, so you had those land acquisition managers, some of the builders have really good ones, and that again is who right?
Right.
And so you saw that, and you saw sort of that, I need to go get land and I need to hurry and purchase that. So you have builders now sitting on good land positions, and then some too. You talk about San Antonio, we are definitely pushing into those submarkets south and into San Antonio. I'm seeing the Austin San Antonio merge more than ever now in that middle
New
ground.
Braunfels blew up, and it still is. So that's in between. San Marcos is doing well. And then San Antonio itself, and talk a little bit about San Antonio. It seems like they have a lot more inventory. Their prices are about half of what the Austin Metro is. And so what I've seen is, I predicted this, is the wave of appreciation that happened in Austin is going to wash out to these submarkets, and those markets are going to benefit. But it took time. It's kind of a wave that went out. And you even mentioned that there's a ton of realtors from Austin down in San Antonio because they got affordable housing down there. So
Right.
what's the San Antonio market as far as builders are concerned, say compared to Austin?
They're a little bit behind the wave of Austin, I would say, that they're now feeling what we felt maybe 3 months ago, 6 months ago, of a lot of investor inquiries, a lot more Austin agents looking. So they're feeling that, and their prices are lower. So you have a lot of the investors going. You have a lot of people right now too that can work from home that are going south, that
Yeah.
they're priced out of Buda, they're priced out of Kyle now, so
Yeah.
they're just pushing further south.
Yeah. Further
And that
south and
area,
further north too, north and
right,
south. And
exactly.
we're actually finding really the suburbs are offering in a lot of ways better lifestyles. New Braunfels has huge mixed use developments, but it still has a small town feel. And so, yeah, so one of the things we talked about before this meeting was the relationships, and why you need somebody who's been in the business like me for a long time and earned the relationships with these on-sites. And what I call in Texas, it took me a long time to learn, but I learned it's called a good old boy or a good old girl. And what it is, that's kind of the Texas term for someone's been around, proven themselves, and also gets results. And that's what everybody's looking for: the buyers, the sellers, the builders, the on-site agents. And so I've been nurturing those relationships. And so when an investor opportunity comes up, which happens all the time, every week, I'm getting the on-site agents calling me and saying, okay, management's allowed me to release this one home to investors, and the whole neighborhood is non-investor, but Ken, we know you, and we want to give you that opportunity. And I turn around and send, if it makes sense and it's a good property, I send it out to my network and we sell it. And everybody's happy. But that property would have never hit the market. You would have never known about it. And if you're calling from an out-of-state area code and you start trying to build relationships and you're not a realtor, and the on-site agents don't know who you are, you just can't do that overnight, and nor can you do it if you're not really in the industry. See, I may sell. We've got one neighborhood that we've sold 22 houses in this one neighborhood this year, and so that builder agent is going to call me first when there's an opportunity for investment, because I keep bringing them more and being an advocate for their business, it's a good thing all the way around, but it's not something you can do overnight. And that's why connecting with a very well networked broker is really important, and somebody who specializes, if you're doing investments, specialize in investments. We're doing a lot of relo right now, of course. Relocation from higher priced areas like the Bay Area. And I'm going out to meet those folks. And so I'd like to get that. I think there's going to be, though, a continued demand for investment properties. This was an article from the National Association of Realtors chief economist that says serious squeeze on renters. Basically, the bottom line, the last sentence from the NAR is, there is a massive housing shortage, and hands must be on deck to get the supply up. We don't have enough housing. And that's why our investment properties are doing so well, because people can't buy, or they're starting to be able to buy, but not until March, next summer, 1 year. That's what it's taken some of these builders to build, and they need a place to live now. So we're seeing bidding wars on rentals as well. San Antonio's been doing really good. Our other submarkets north of us, Temple Belton, they're really doing well. And we're also doing really starting to see opportunity in Austin. We're starting to see that builders are starting to reduce their prices a bit to compensate for their overshooting with lumber prices. They're not selling properties, holding them off the market until now, when like you said, they've got a grip on what their costs are, and now things are starting to mellow out. You said March is going to be a huge inventory hit, so that could be number one, a good buying opportunity, but also number two, that's also when all the the springtime buying season happens. And so you got the biggest home buying population that's ever hit the world, which is the millennials, are now at home buying age, 30s to 40s. And that shadow inventory of buyers is going to come in, and they make good money, and they're going to buy that. So we're still going to see a massive amount of activity. So yeah. And what's your take on the inventory, what you've been seeing?
So, two things too. I want to definitely address your question about the sort of the good old boy, good old girl group,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to inventory. So I'll wrap it into both of those. But I will tell you from the insider perspective, especially from working with a big corporate builder, anytime there is a blip in the market, just like we had, what a builder does is they turn to their trusted realtors to either A, move inventory for them, or B, call on them and say, what in the world? Am I priced wrong? Why is this not moving? And it's those times I feel like what maybe a buyer doesn't realize is how valuable their realtor is in that situation, because that realtor can say, you know what, I can move that inventory for you. I have just the buyer, but I need it at this price. And that on-site rep is under pressure. They need to make their numbers that month. And
Yeah.
so they call you and they say, Ken, I need this gone. And you say, how about 40K off, whatever it might be. And the builder will accept, and they'll not only accept because they need to move it, but they'll accept it because they've worked with you before. And they know that you understand the process and the lending and the
Yeah.
everything that goes along with it, because they're a business and they have numbers to make. So sometimes when you're dealing with the investor on their own, or even the first time buyer on their own, not to their fault, but they
Yeah.
can be a pain,
Right.
and so when you're guiding them through that,
Yeah.
you can get them the best deals. And like you said, shadow inventory, you can't find it on Zillow, you can't find it on realtor.com. You really just can't find it anywhere unless you're on speed dial with your favorite builder rep. So
It happens all the time. Yeah, I happen to be on the phone with the on-site rep, and they're like, going, well, by the way, this one just popped up, and I'm like, great. And so, yeah, well, thank you for that. It is true. And it is not something that's that easy to, they do work with the top agents. About 5% of the realtors do about 85% of the business. So the top 5% is who they really call on for this. And so, and also that, I would say that probably at least half of the agents, there's 15,000 agents in Austin, half of them are part-time. And you don't go to a part-time dentist or a part-time surgeon or a part-time CPA to do your taxes. I hope not, but you want to work with a specialist. So of those 5% of agents that are doing 85, 90% of the business, a very small percent of them are experts in the investment realm. And also how to treat the builders in such a way where they keep calling you back, by number one being having clients that are ready, willing, able, well qualified, and cooperative. We've had some situations where the buyer got sideways with the builder and they kicked him to the curb on two houses, and it cost him $200,000 in equity. It was a bad argument. But that's what was happening. And so I'm in there to buffer that, and also to make sure that the builders are happy with us, but in the end, that my clients are happy with their homes. And so that's the accountability. We are very, we treat it like our own home purchase. And that's the only way. That's the only way people come back. If it works, that our investors are buying. As soon as they close the one, they said, this worked, let's do it again. If it doesn't work, they have a terrible time, the product turned out like garbage, they're not going to come back, and they're not going to tell their friends. So I'd like to jump in and show the this cool spreadsheet. And how often is this get updated?
it gets updated about once a week. And just a tiny little backstory on it too. What's interesting that this came about, I worked in land acquisition for a very short time. And what was frustrating is when you're looking at builder inventory, you could go everywhere. You go to all these online portals or the builder's websites, nothing matches, nothing's updated. So the ability for us to have that close connection with a builder, especially in the marketing department, who can give us their latest and greatest inventory, that about 20% of these homes, probably more right now, are not on MLS, which means they're not hitting online portals like the realtors.com, Zillow, things consumers are seeing. So to me, when you can get it directly from a builder, that's the most accurate. So as you can
Well,
see,
it's a big time saver too. You know
right.
how frustrating it is to call the 800 number, get a hold of an internet salesperson that doesn't know anything about it, and then they hook you up with the on-site agent who happens to be off that day. So you're talking to a hostess that doesn't know what inventory is available, even in their own neighborhood. This is so much easier.
Right.
Of all the builders that I know you're bringing more online, more back. What would you say the percentage of builders do you have on your list here I see there's a lot of them that aren't on it, but I see a lot of ones that, like DR Horton is one that doesn't usually do a lot of marketing like this. So that's great that you got DR Horton on.
We have most of the major players in the Austin area. We have the big Lennar and DR Horton. Lennar is not on this list in particular at the moment, but they are
I've got the Lennar list.
right,
So
and they do put it out for their realtors. So we have most of the national top builders in Austin in the Builder Boost program. And then, that keeps our realtors like you very up to date on what is out there. You're able to sort by price and builder.
yeah, I
And
really like, there's a lot of, you can sort by okay, so it's already sorted at beginning by price. So the lowest price is 278,000 with Brown Homes in Jarrell. Well, that was easy. We do a lot of business in Jarrell. And that's actually not a bad deal. And but DR Horton is not investor friendly. So Braun is, DR Horton isn't. And so this saves a lot of time. I can sort by the builder. Let's say if I know one builder is more friendly than others, there's all the Braun homes. And then, that I can just sort by builder and go down that way. Or maybe I want to sort by when the homes are going to be done. I got a lot of people want to close first quarter. They don't want to close this year for whatever reason. And so, and there's the great, it's got your closing months. That's really helpful. So just a really great tool. What else do we have on here?
one of my favorite things to do too is go to the city tab
Yeah.
and just, unselect and just select Kyle or Buda and sort of you're able to quickly see lowest to highest price as
Yeah.
well
So
in
it's
certain submarkets.
okay. So the submarket like Bastrop, which is just that's would serve Tesla because it's about
Mhm.
25 minutes to Tesla. It's one of our submarkets starting not 317. That's post 300,000. Yeah. Okay. So this is great. So yeah, go. Okay. What's available in Buda? Guian has one for 454. Okay. Del Valley is also service the Tesla area at sea. But even that, look at, Kim, would you have ever thought that Del Valley would have a $450,000 spec? I mean, for 2,000 square feet. So amazing. But this is really helps also in keeping track of the trends. And then also you were telling that you were saying that there's a lot of builders saying we're going to put a bunch more that we haven't given you on for the March closings. So
this will grow.
with March closings, they're going to start pushing. There's going to be probably some pretty good discounts and also open to investor opportunities. We won't know it until we won't know it unless we have a relationship with that on-site that goes, oh yeah, Ken, he's that investor guy. Yeah. So so that's why we have them on a database. And you gave me a great advice yesterday, which I'm going to really take in heart, is LinkedIn, connecting with all the on-site agents and with LinkedIn. We just want to be their good old boy or good old girl. Call us first is what I always say. We got other programs too that we won't go into right now, but your product's really amazing and it's very helpful. And I plan on using it a lot and sharing it with my clients. And I'll be going out to the Bay Area next week to talk business and see what we can do to help people get involved in this amazing market here. It's still, even though we're taking a breather, supply chain shortages have not is still in. I saw all the freighters out there when I was in the Long Beach area not too long ago. I know my furniture hasn't got here that I order in springtime from my backyard. It's all stuck on a freighter along with a lot of other building materials, and so that's going to put a squeeze. Millennials are going to come in. Shadow inventory of buyers is going to come in because they've been sitting on the sidelines throwing up their hands, and it's hit the news. Once it hits the news, then all of a sudden people think, oh wow, Austin market's cooling, and it's cooling from what? From a 45% appreciation rate to a 30% to a 25%. All that's still really good. So let's talk just quickly about the current pricing that just happened. You said from about August, September, we've seen in some prices now they're starting to finally give us a break.
Yes, they're easing up a little bit. I just saw an article yesterday from the CEO of Meritage, and I thought it was really interesting because he's one of the, I would say, first to start speaking this way publicly into the media. But their strategy going into next year, they had huge profit margin. They made great money this year, but he knows that interest rates are bound to go up. It's coming, and then Austin's going to get squeezed for the affordable home prices.
Mhm.
And so those prices, are still going to keep going up, up, up. But there are certain builders that are so focused on that particular price point right there. And so he was quoted as saying, we're going to begin lowering some of our price point so that they can start moving them. And so I think that's what we should watch, quite frankly, with a lot of the builders, is some of the prices, especially year end. It's a lot of builders fiscal year end, and they still need to make those numbers, even though they're way above their sales goals. There's certain communities that have not made their numbers. So I think, any agent that has their pulse on the market will be watching closely, because there will be deals. There are always deals in fourth quarter, and I see it. I see it starting to happen.
Well,
So.
and Kim, you mentioned something that's important. Why, since I've been doing this so long, and the builders, I've been in a great relationship with management, with the builders, and part of what it is also being in the know. Most people don't know that D.R. Horton's fiscal year end is September 30th. So if you're looking to buy a D.R. Horton home, and you'll probably see some really good deals around July, August time, as they really want to close out their numbers for the year. Lennar's fiscal year end is November 30th. So, and they're also very quarter conscious, month end, quarter end, and they release and sometimes give some really good deals and incentives to buyers at that time, and even wholesaling them out. So that's where we're at, is to be able to catch those when they fall and ready to go. And also, you just mentioned it too. Austin is struggling with affordability, and that's why we're in the San Antonio and Central Texas, 50 miles away. You're 50% of the value. That doesn't take long for people to realize that they can buy a house 50 miles from Austin at half price. Makes a lot of sense, since they can work from home anyways. So that is the rush to the suburbs, which wasn't hard to predict, but I predicted it has happened, and they're buying and they're renting nice, bigger homes. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time. Any last comments about what's going on in the future here?
No, I think it's just an exciting time. I think, but it's a time you need guidance. You need professional guidance more than ever. So I get honored when somebody like you calls me, and, just to talk about how you're serving your clients and how to serve them best. So I love that. I think there is a lot of guidance that's needed right now, because it's a confusing time. And
All the way around.
professionals, right?
It's all the way around, and it's what we do is help reduce the stress, because I mean, every facet of the business has some problem with it, a supply chain shortage. For instance, right now, appraisals, their appraisers are charging triple what they used to charge, and they're taking 6 weeks sometimes to get an appraisal back. Builders, the biggest pet peeve for a builder is not closing on time, and they have been kicking their, you don't close that day, you're off the books, and they'll go sell it to somebody else. So
Yes.
they're not as mean as they were in the summertime. about, but we've seen them kick some people to the curb, and maybe for good reason or wrong reason, I don't know. But the bottom line is that they want to deal with people that are easy to work with, and I help with that, and that understand that there's going to be hiccups along the way. But the bottom line is we want you to have a really nice finished product that you're going to be happy with for the long term for your primary residents on relos. Love it. And also for investors. So give me a call when you get a chance, 512-423-5626. Kim, I appreciate your time, and I look forward to helping build or boost and all of our clients buy more Austin and San Antonio properties.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Ken. Thank you.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Okay.